You can do anything.
Is this recording?
You can do
It's recording.
anything. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, this is a story about a bloke called David, or as he was affectionately known in the very, very progressive town of Wyong in the 50s and 60s, David the Wog. Now, if you think David the Wog had a tough time in school, well, you'd be wrong. He actually had a lot tougher time at home. See, David's father died in front of him of a heart attack at the age of 8, and David's mother remarried. And she married a man who chose poorly. He chose the bottle. And one day he took young David out the back, put him up against the fence, went smack, smack, smack. I'm going to teach you how to box. Smack! David the Wog quickly learned how to become David the Boxer. And he lost every fight to that man to the age of 12, when he was kicked out of home. 12. I didn't leave home till I was 12 years of age. Off he went to Melbourne to fight and survive on his own. David the Boxer quickly became David the Man. Until one day he had a gutful and he decided he wanted food, he wanted shelter, more than anything else he wanted to see the world. So he lied about his age and he joined the Navy. And having grown up very quickly from a young age, as you know, from the age of 8, forced to defend himself and having to fight for what he needed from the age of 12, well, he seemed pretty much like an adult. They just thought he was a little bit short. So there he was, he enlisted, proud and tall on Her Majesty's Australian ship, out at sea, sailing along, loving life. This was the freedom he'd never had. Back on land, he jumped on his motorcycle, cruising through his hometown. This was freedom, and this was being alive. Till a car drove through a stop sign at 80 kilometres an hour. And life had one last trick up its sleeve. When he woke up in his hospital bed, David the sailor was told he was now David the quadriplegic. And he spent the next year in a spinal ward being told by hundreds of people what he could never do. You'll never work again. You'll never own a home. Forget marriage. Any woman would never stay with you for more than 6 months. You'll never have kids. And this was the 70s. They weren't being cold, they were being realistic. Half the people in David's spinal ward took their own lives. The other half slowly died through drugs and alcohol. But not David. Out of the hundreds of people who came to see him, one person, one nurse came to see him every single day. And all the people who told him, you can't do this, she said to him, you can do anything. You can do anything. So he married her.
Good taste.
And they're still together 40 years later. He started learning by correspondence, and this is at a time before when the internet was pretty much unheard of. He started learning over the phone and he became a qualified accountant. He's worked full-time ever since. He and his lovely wife, they own their own home where they live right now in North Ryde. David the quadriplegic beat the odds and became David the homeowner, David the husband, David the accountant. Despite life having taken everything from this man, he's managed to give more back to the world than it's taken from him. But his proudest achievement, I believe, is raising a family. David's got 2 sons, in fact. His oldest, his name's Pat. He lives in Nelson Bay with his lovely wife, Victoria, and his 9-month-old son, Jack. And his youngest, his name's Nick, and he's standing right in front of you.
Well,
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, you can do anything. I'm telling you this story for 2 reasons. Firstly, I think my father's an inspiration to all of us. But secondly, I've taken my dad for granted for most of my life. And this is my way of saying thank you. Mr. Toastmaster.